Alright, so obviously one of the biggest releases for this year for the PlayStation 5, for the Sony platform in general, is God of War Ragnarok. This is the highly anticipated sequel to the original God of War that they remade from the ground up, the 2018 remake of the God of War series. God of War, pretty fantastic series, pretty popular series for the Sony console systems, but God of War 2018 did take it to a different level. Now, my personal thoughts on that game in particular, I actually surprisingly didn't really enjoy it that much. I think honestly it was a fantastic game in terms of what it looked to do. I really enjoyed the cinematic feel of the game, and it definitely took God of War from just a button masher, sort of just pure gore for the sense of gore, sort of like an immature style game. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but that's how I always felt about the God of War series. It was sort of immature, and then it matured into this version of God of War. And this kind of looks at the story and really flushes out the character, puts some detail into the character of Kratos and him and his relationship with his son. Honestly, it really resonated with me, and I did enjoy the game in terms of its gameplay. It's just things of this game that people loved so much. I really was not a big fan of the alteration and the change of the mythology universe. This is more like Norse mythology, and I kind of liked the ancient Greek mythology that God of War was based upon. Also, I really didn't enjoy the map. I felt like the map was convoluted and traveling around the different realms and everything. It just wasn't as enjoyable, and it just wasn't so straightforward. The map was confusing, and that led to times when the game just wasn't fun when you're trying to backtrack and do things. So overall, I mean, like, in terms of a game for the genre, this was a pivotal game, and in terms of maturity of the series, this was pivotal. But overall, I didn't really enjoy the game as much as all the critics did. But regardless, it's still one of the best games that was released for the PlayStation 4. And of course, now this year, we have God of War Ragnarok here. This is, again, launch edition. I really enjoyed that PlayStation exclusives. If you buy them on launch, they happen to have the cover art, I believe, is the same, but it just happens to mention the launch edition. And this one, again, talking about Ragnarok, right? So I don't really know too much about the game. For this game in particular, I tried to stay as silent as I could from the media. I haven't watched any reviews. I don't really know anything about it. Currently, I have the game downloading, and hopefully I'll get to check it out. I may not get a chance to check it out right at launch. This is a little bit after launch, a little bit busy with work, but let's just take a look at the unboxing experience here. Taking a look at the back, embark on an epic and heartfelt journey as Kratos and Atreus, his son, struggle with holding on and letting go against a backdrop of Norse realms torn asunder. Am I reading correctly? I'm reading it through the camera. Witness the changing dynamic of the father-son relationship as they prepare for war. So again, as you can see, it's focusing on the father-son relationship, and honestly, that was one of the best aspects of the game. So I guess this includes some bonus content, some armor sets, I guess, digital bonus content. Taking a look at the spine. If you remember in one of my previous videos, spines really matter. I feel like this is the part of the game that you get to see while it's on your shelf, and yeah, it looks really impressive compared to the other original 2018 God of War. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok. New and shiny on a brand new console generation. Looking at the front, Kratos looks a bit more mature, a bit older. Atreus definitely looks older. Let's take a look inside. And what do we see here? Okay, this is the digital content pack for the armor sets. Here's the disc. I downloaded it earlier, put the disc back. And really cool. Let's see behind here. Oh yeah. So here you see them sort of fighting together. And nice artwork. Nice artwork for sure. Let's put that back into place. Let me take a look to see what's back here. Really cool, and I'm pretty sure, seems like this is reversible. Let's take a look and see if this is indeed reversible. Really awesome. Really awesome art. And yeah, this is just looking at this is sort of spoiling stuff for me, I guess, because I haven't seen anything. But yeah, very similar thing to the original God of War, the 2018 one. This was also reversible, but it kind of had the cover. So maybe that one's not reversible. That one just shows a scene of them fighting, but this one was definitely reversible because it had actually showed the title of the game. I remember I switched it around once in a while, and see the spine also has God of War written on it. This was from the 2018 version. God of War Ragnarok, different in that it doesn't have a spine, so maybe it's not reversible. This is just cover art from the inside. But regardless of the fact, I think it's cool that they at least put in the effort to have some artwork. So that's God of War Ragnarok. Let's put some of these things away. Because now, besides that, Sony also released this right here. And I was able to get a pre-order for this controller from Best Buy. So this is a limited edition DualSense controller for God of War Ragnarok. Now, also what's special about this is I'm pretty sure this is the first special edition DualSense controller for the Sony PlayStation 5. Now, I do have the black controller. That's my go-to controller. I forgot if it was called Midnight Black. Then there's the original white controller, and Sony likes to work off of contrast of colors, and this box looks really awesome. Again, sharp contrast, just like the controller, just like Sony's console, and this is actually pretty cool. So I wanted to just do a quick unboxing of this as well. Let's take a look. On the side, silhouette of Kratos, and he's holding the Leviathan axe here. Compatible hardware, PlayStation 5, of course. Front of the box here, DualSense wireless controller. I remember when it was announced, I wasn't so excited because I felt like this looked a little too purple, but sometimes the color can be misleading. On this side here, we have Atreus with a bow. Contents, DualSense wireless controller, God of War Ragnarok limited edition, and an instruction manual. Heighten your senses. Yeah, DualSense controller, one of my favorite controllers, and what we see here is two wolves, and that's the same design here, and I presume that represents our two protagonists. So let's get this open. Alright, so initial thoughts on this controller really surprised me. So when I saw the first advertisements, like I mentioned before, I felt like the controller looked very purple, or like a dark purple. But it is completely different. It is like a navy blue. So the controller looks really, really nice. First impressions, I am very impressed. And again, Sony really loves to capitalize on contrast. Like if you take a look, the dark buttons with the white symbols, then you have the white here, which is similar to the PlayStation console itself in the original white that it came out from. On the touchpad, we have the same symbols of appears to be like a wolf and a bear, and I think that's to symbolize Kratos and his son Atreus. And then you happen to have like this nice navy blue, and again the contrast, like just look at the gray here with this button and the PlayStation symbol. There's like almost like a gray and black outline, which really stands out on a controller like this. And first impressions, I mean, you know, this looks really a lot better than I suspected. Now taking a look on the sides and the back, and wow, really nice. It's God of War Ragnarok. So it's almost subtle if like this wasn't here. That's kind of, you know, on the nose, but it's very subtle, but the controller is just fantastic. I really, really was not expecting it to be this nice. And I mean, the DualSense controller itself is a really fantastic controller, probably one of my favorite controllers ever. And this special edition really highlights a lot of the intricacies really well, and of course the controller feels great, no surprise there. But yeah, I'm really liking even the back. I like the fact that subtly it just has the logo there. And yeah, let's compare it to a launch model controller. And yeah, I mean, below the PlayStation button it's gray as well, but it just doesn't have the same kind of pop as you can see when you compare the two controllers. And again, yeah, I was never a fan of how I wish that the actual symbols on the original launch controller were like a dark black so that you can have some contrast. But you see how much better it just looks on the new special edition controller. looks, I mean, these buttons look very similar to the Midnight Black controller. But wow, overall, really nice controller. So fantastic. I'm very excited to actually try out the game. It's getting a lot of good reviews. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you planning on picking up the controller or the game? Did you pick up the controller? Please don't spoil anything in the comments. I have not actually started playing the game yet, but overall very impressed. Let me know your thoughts down below. This is just an unboxing and my quick thoughts on God of War. So until next time, if you can, I mean, these were hard to get a little bit, but if you're able to get it, if you're able to pick up this controller, I would highly recommend it. Given the fact that this is the first special edition controller for PlayStation 5, I think it's worthwhile, especially if you're a collector. So there we go. That's it. And until next time.